Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is the Spartan football preview, and we've gotten one person lighter. That's right. Ryan Carlson is no longer here. He's handed the reins over to me and the great DQ42 Derrick, who you do see and hear on screen. Joined with me today is, as mentioned before, Derrick from the Spear. He and I are in our last dance, our last chapter here at San Jose State, and none other than the great Jonathan Schaefer. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining me today at the Spartan football preview show. And boy, is it glad to be back for the new season. And it's so glad that we can call ourselves the reigning Mountain West champions. Derrick and Johnny, I'll throw it to Derrick first. How are we, boys? Welcome back.
Can we use the term The Last Dance? I mean, I know it's on Netflix, ESPN Plus.
I'd like to think we can.
Okay, because, I don't want, the Jordan company comes sue us, we're trying to save money here. But it's great to see you guys. It's great to see all of you on campus. It is great to be back around not only the Spartan student body here, but also student athletes. It's great to see them as well. And you can feel the energy. You can feel the, not intensity, but just the juice around campus, just that feeling of this 2021 San Jose State season. We all know what happened last year. We all know what went down. We won the Mountain West, of course, Arizona Bowl. We all know what happened there. Ball State. I give credit to the Ball State guys that we had on in our last year. I think they kind of spooked us into losing. But it's great to be back. Obviously, now we got Southern Utah is week numero uno. One of my pet peeves, before I hand it off to Johnny, one of my pet peeves is week 0 college football. Why would you say you're going to call it exhibition game 1? It's week 1 for me. Okay. It's not week 0, week -1. It's week 1. It's the first game on the docket, and that's Southern Utah. And the fans will be back at CEFCU Stadium. So looking forward to seeing that environment play out.
Yeah, I didn't even know they called it week 0, but man, I am excited. It was interesting last year, not as many games, a lot of canceled games, but the team just looked phenomenal. You can say whatever of the scheduling. I don't care. We beat Boise State for the championship. We lost a bowl game, but it's a bowl game. And yes, it was fun watching all the games on TV. It did suck not being there, but finally, fans can return on Saturday against Utah. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for the crowd atmosphere, the bands playing, the cheerleading, I guess you would say. And
well, I hope Johnny gets some better Wi-Fi in the middle of this show, ladies and gentlemen, as we could hear him, but he was cutting out here on video a little bit. So, Johnny, you may need to make sure nothing's downloading here in the background, but you guys are right. And I think both of you touched on something awesome, and that's the fact that fans are back, and they will be back at New CEFCU Stadium. They will get to see that new scoreboard that we only saw glimpses of last season. And this year, we don't have to go fly to Hawaii and play in a condemned stadium this year. But I think you guys touched on it both, and that's fans being back. And that's none other than Crazy George coming back this season. And I'm excited to see what he does, what he has in store. Fans need to be, masked up and do whatever protocols that CEFCU Stadium is having. But look, we've got a big schedule on the year this year for San Jose State. Like Johnny and Derrick said, we've got Southern Utah this weekend on week 0. Yes, Derrick, week 0 coming up. And Derrick, look, I'll go right to you quickly before you start giving us a little bit of a preview of what we can expect to see for San Jose State against Southern Utah. But look, we play USC week 2, and then we go against Hawaii week 3. Give me a quick brief, what you think. Give me some key games, key players that you're looking at for the season.
Oh, man, I can go so much detail on why I did not grow up a USC fan. Matt Leinart, against Notre Dame broke my heart. I can go with so much detail, but, I want to keep it PG for the sake of the YouTube machine and our Spear audience. The USC game, to me, that's the biggest game on schedule. I don't care about, conference wise. Just because, USC and San Jose, they were both, and SJSU, they were both ranked in, the college football playoff poll last year. USC has some national championship aspirations. Their head coach, Clay Helton, he's been doing a solid job resurrecting that program, but kind of on the hot seat because the Pac-12 hasn't made the college football playoff in about 5 years. So, it's going to be a big deal for if San Jose State can pull off the upset. Looking forward to that Thursday night game against UNLV. They'll be playing at the Death Star, the Roomba that had some Wi-Fi issues for WWE SummerSlam Allegiant Stadium. So that should be interesting just to see a Thursday night game against the Spartans. Of course, we avoid Boise State, but San Diego State does come home October the 15th. It is homecoming. And then what do you know, on my birthday, November 6th, what could decide, who knows if that's going to decide the West Division, since we're back in divisional play for Mountain West. The Spartans head to Reno, take on Nevada. And then, of course, how can you forget Thanksgiving, Fresno State live, Crazy George bobblehead night, November 25th. We don't know the time of that, obviously, but that should be fun. And yeah, it's Crazy George bobblehead night. I know Crazy George will be there. He's always there at the Earthquakes games, at the A's games, but those are my games to watch out for, obviously. And then we'll see about December 4th if we're either going to Boise, that's a hint, who we're going to face in the Mountain West Championship, or if they're coming here. So yeah, those are my games to watch out for. But, Coach Brennan said it in his press conference earlier this week, can't look past Southern Utah. And they went 1-5 last year in their abbreviated spring season. But, San Jose State's been in this position before. They lost to UC Davis 2 years ago. So, it has all the makings of a trap game for them.
Now, Derrick, I know we've done some pre-talking here, and I think you mentioned it quickly. Johnny, I know you've looked at some games, and I know you're probably just as excited as Derrick for that USC game, just as much as I am. I think, like Derrick said, that is the game of the year. Yes, I think the only thing that tops it is probably the bowl game. Who knows? Maybe we play them again in a bowl game. I doubt that happens, but I really think they're going to bowl game. Derrick mentioned Brett Brennan said we can't overlook Southern Utah. What are you seeing from Spartans as they prepare for this week's matchup against Southern Utah?
Yeah, well, Southern Utah, by the way, folks, it's not Utah Valley University, Utah. It's Southern Utah, based in Cedar City, Utah. Of course, some of their notable alumni, former Senator Harry Reid, former Governor Michael Leavitt was in the Bush cabinet. Nick Miller played for the Raiders, so they got some, that's how much I know about the Thunderbirds. But like I said, they went 1-5. They do have a star linebacker, and I know we were taking bets on how to pronounce his name. It's Leakeo Kawahoano Davis. He plays like, he was a former defensive back. He plays like Jabril Peppers, can cover like Fred Warner. He's a good special teams ace for the Thunderbirds. And you guys are probably taking bets on if I butcher that name. I think I got it pretty close, 85%. And then on offense, Justin Miller, very efficient QB for the T-Birds. Thomas Duckett's returning. Braxton Jones is probably their NFL prospect on the offensive line. And then J.R. Waters, the Oregon transfer, he can bring some speed into that. But like I said, the Thunderbirds have nothing to lose, everything to gain in this game. They could be competitive, and they only lost like their 5 games by like a combined 15 points, so they're really competitive. They stayed in it. I think for them it's just about trying to close the deal if they want the upset and escape San Jose with the W.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Johnny, I want to get your perspective. Let's turn our attention more to San Jose State. Let's talk specifically the offense. Now, the core is generally still there, but there are 2 key pieces gone in Bailey Gaither and Trey Walker. As we know, both had awesome seasons last year. Gaither with the breakout season, Nick Starkel's favorite quarterback, favorite wide receiver, favorite target. Derrick Deese is back as well. We still got Tyler Nevins and Kyrie Robinson running the backfield. But, Johnny, what can you give me from San Jose State's offense, and how do you think they're going to run this year without those 2 additions on the outside?
Yeah, hopefully my Wi-Fi begins to start working. But yeah, I think in college football, you always have to be kind of prepared for something like this to happen, just players leaving, players transferring, players being drafted. And yeah, for Starkel, it's going to be Isaiah Holiness and Jermaine Braddock as the 2 new wideouts that he's going to be throwing it to. Of course, he saw Isaiah Hamilton. Isaiah Hamilton was a little speedster, so it's a good target for him. Offensive line, basically the same. You got Jack Snyder at the left tackle, who was the Mountain West Player of the Year, according to Bleacher Report. So, guy you want protecting your blind side in his grad season. Derrick Jr. had a great season as well. Had a little bit of a scare injury in that bowl game, but he was just fine. Ended up missing the rest of the game. And of course, you got Nick Starkel, who was a transfer and just balled out for us. Just was the best guy on the team, or on the offense, of course. And I heard he's been having a great training camp so far, and just more great things to come. And of course, the running back duo of Tyler Nevins and Kyrie Robinson. It's always good to have depth at running back positions because, you can't just keep feeding the guy the same ball every time. And I think there's going to be a lot coming for this offense. I think they're going to do just fine with the changes, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely, Johnny. I think you touched on it best there. In college sports, specifically football. You know, you're going to get these guys for guaranteed at least 3 years before they have a potential of moving, sometimes less if they want to transfer, change of scenery, right? And I think you said it best. There's lots of depth in different places at running back. Obviously, we saw Nevins and Robinson break out last year. Nevins is that downhill physical runner. Robinson can get speed on the outside, and he's that pass catching back as well. You know, you touched on the offensive line, generally the same. So they should have that trust within the core, you know, between not only Starkel and Nick Nash, because we know Nick Nash is going to be a part of this offense. He is still Starkel's back. We know he's going to play. But, you know, I think the whole trust, if everybody in the inside at the line is going to be great. Derrick, what can you tell me about the other side of the ball? On defense, obviously, we still got Cade Hall. We've had a transfer. Let me know what you've got. What's going on with the Spartans defense this year and this week?
Yeah, Trey Webb, obviously, our starting strong safety, full safety. He transferred to Montana State. By the way, let me say something about Montana. I went there last month, one of the pretty states on there, so I could see why Trey transferred to Montana State. But hey, he got it. He got the championship. He got Max T-shirt from Fanatics.com. So, you know, he did his service here, and he's always beloved by the Spartan community. But Jay Leonard's going to replace him. Jay Leonard has some, you know, starting game experience, so I'm not really too worried about that. Of course, basically the defense remains the same. Cade Hall, obviously the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. Jay Kaivia, nose tackle, Vilami Fahoko. You know, basically the same guys. Kyle Harmon, Tyson Parker, Ali Matu, of course, Nehemiah Shelton on one end, Kenyon Reed right there. Of course, Charlie Bostic. So, you know, I think a lot of these guys, you know, they have familiarity playing with each other. And one thing about the San Jose State team that I haven't seen in a couple of years is they have depth. They have guys who have transferred over from D1 schools, so they know what they're doing. It's not like, you know, you have to teach a high school freshman how to get up to game speed, to college game speed. But the defense, you know, I think it's going to be one of the foundations of for the Spartans to go not only back to back, but also trying to make a game of New Year's Six Bowl, Cotton Bowl. You never know. But, you know, I think that's going to be starting off in the trenches with Hall, Kakavia, and Fahoko, you know, trying to stop the run game for Thunderbirds. Because, you know, I think Southern Utah, I think they're going to go guns a-blazing, trying to pass the ball a lot early on, trying to stay up with the Spartan high-powered offense.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we can't forget about our great kicker, Matt Mercurio. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Mercurio, you know, he's going to have a prominent role. We need him to kick the field goals just like he did last year. He's a redshirt junior. I expect big things from him. We can't forget about the special teams. And I think one thing you guys both touched on, and that's consistency, and that's people, you know, gelling and familiarity. The coaching staff is the same. Brennan signs an extension. The team believes in him. So unless for some reason something happens where he loses the room, which I don't expect to happen, Brennan and his staff are a great coaching staff. This team is poised for another great season of success. Now, look, I do want to shout out this one thing, and as journalism majors and journalism people that we are, shout out to the San Jose State athletic program coming up with something called The Charge. It's the first athletics department to build a 24/7 branded radio network. And what they're doing is they're going to allow this for their athletes, whether that's football, basketball, any athlete, or higher up students that need some sort of involvement, to help them in terms of the athletes get their name, image, and likeness, promote a product, promote the team, do whatever they need to do. And I think that's just the first of many creative things we could come seeing from things like San Jose State. So I'm interested to see if there's any players like Nick Starkel, who's very well spoken. I'm sure Fehoko and Cade Hall have a great relationship and would have a great show on there. Nick Nash, I'm sure, you know, could do a whole vlog show. So shout out to the SJSU athletics department for developing that 24/7 radio broadcast. Expect that later this fall. It's going to be fun to watch. Now, boys, we got to get into the nitty gritty here. I need to get you some predictions out of you. Now, look, before we go, you guys know my shtick from last year was the over under and the odds. Now, look, I'm going to be, you know, cold-hearted here. Southern Utah should not win this game, and I don't think they will. Just before I give my predictions, I will go last for you, gents. Just so you know, the spread is minus 24 points in favor of San Jose State, and the over-under is 56.5. Now, San Jose State is about an even spread win, but from the money line strictly to win, they're a minus 2,400. So let me throw it to Johnny first. Johnny, who you got, and what's the score you got winning this game?
Oh, obviously, you got to go San Jose State for this game. Southern Utah only playing spring ball last year, just not enough playing time. I'd say final score, 34-14. Got it right there.
DQ, what do you got for me?
Well, you know, I think Southern Utah will be competitive, probably for the first half, and then, you know, you'll start to see fans figure out, oh, this game's too close than we called for. I'll give Southern Utah credit. They have a lot of young guys on the roster, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomore playing last year, obviously playing together. Of course, it wasn't the season they hoped for, but I'm going Spartans 37 and the Thunderbirds 16. I think it's, the Spartans will start to pull away third, fourth quarter. And by the way, I'll say something about the charge. It's a really great idea for San Jose State Athletics. Of course, our new athletic director, Mr. Jeff Konya. And people are like, are you guys out of business? Are you guys, we're going to stop covering the team because they have their own network? We're still going to be, we're fine. Okay. Relax. We're fine. You can still follow us on the social medias. Okay. We're not in competition with them. We'll still cover them. They'll still sit. Most of them have said yes to interviews. So relax, take it easy. Good for these student athletes to just finally have an opportunity kind of for their voice to be heard in ways they haven't before.
All right, boys. I went undefeated last year in the over-under. And I do believe it touches the over. I think this game is going to be a shootout in the first half. I think San Jose State's defense is a little leaky in the first half. I think over the top, they might get exposed a little bit. And I think the offense is going to hum, maybe get off to a little slow start. But I do believe, I am in agreement with all of you. I do believe the over will be hit. I do believe it will be 42-18. I do believe it will barely get hit. I think we're going to hit 60. Reminder that over under is 56.5. Now, boys, before we hit out here, give me a quick season prediction. How do you think we're going to fare? Do we get a bowl game? What is our win total? Obviously, we need 6 wins for a bowl. Quick hits here. Derrick, let me start with you. What's our win total? I don't care about the losses. Let's stay positive here, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off here for you folks.
Well, by the way, for those that aren't able to come to the game will be on CBS Sports Network, not CBS Sports, not CBS the Network, CBS Sports Network, 7:00 kickoff. You can catch it on the Spartan Radio Network, and also KSJS 90.5 KSJS. Louis Geist, Aikman Fane have got you covered, so they'll be at SFQ live and free for all of you to hear. Win total, the Spartans will be at a bowl game. Okay. They'll be at a bowl game, and I think they'll make the conference championship game. I want to see how Boise State does on, with their schedule before I can say back to back. But I'll say the Spartans make a group of 6 game. I think they can play in the Cotton Bowl. Of course, they got Cincinnati to compete with, Coastal Carolina. But I say they'll be playing on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Now, Derrick, you didn't give me a number, but I'll accept the answer. Johnny, do you see
say
them
nine. I'll say 9, 10 wins.
9-10 wins. All right. Johnny, what you got? Do you think they make that Group 6 bowl? One of the more high-profile bowls. Obviously, they've got a Thanksgiving game. Do they get a New Year's Day game?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely make a bowl game this year. Just the team's just too talented right now. And the fact that the team barely changed at all from last year's successful season, I think it's definitely going to be a bowl game. And I have to agree with Derrick, probably 9-10 wins. And for us, it's probably going to be Boise. Boise's just that powerhouse team in our conference every season for that championship. I think it's going to be a Boise San Jose State rematch.
Boys, I'm in agreement with you. 9-10 wins. I don't know if they just have that high profile enough yet to get that Group 6 type bowl. I would love to see it, Derrick. I love your ambition, but I'm with agreement. 9-10 wins this season. I think, that game that Derrick pointed out against Nevada is key. But ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a quick show here for the football preview show, but please check us out. Check us out at thespearsjsu.com, at thespearsjsu on Twitter, at the YouTube, the Spear on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. We're on Facebook. All of our tweets are on there and all of our usernames. We've got SJSU Max Miller. We got Derrick and Johnny on there. We're going to have tons of magazines. It's a new semester here at the Spear, and it's a new semester and a new season for San Jose State football. For Derrick Gow and Jonathan Schaefer, I'm Max Miller. This has been the Spartan Football Preview Show. We'll catch you guys next week for the big game against USC. Let's hope we keep going with our predictions.